And today we're going to work on back extensions or back bends. So as we are lying down, we use the balloon effect of our breath to feel the lower back expanding, the diaphragm expanding, the ribs. And just check in on the state of your back. And inhale, bring your arms forwards and rest your chin onto the floor. You can put an intention for the practice today. Lift your head just slightly from the floor. And we're going to start reaching right arm and left leg up and bringing it down. Then turn to the other side. The palm turns inwards, bring the right leg up, left arm up. Reach, arm, opposite arm and leg. And reach, reach, and reach. And relax your forehead onto your hands. Shake your hips. Lovely. So that swimming, you would have felt that you're using your glutes to lift your legs, you're using your lower back, and you also need to tense your abdomen a little bit to give support to your back. So I want you to just feel that contraction of the abdomen, like if you were zipping up a pair of tight jeans. And then with the contraction of the ab, just lift your head, keep your gaze down, lift your head and shoulders, and release down and relax. You would have felt that your buttocks are also engaging. Inhale, contract your lower abdomen, push your pelvic floor towards the floor, and lift your upper back. Keep your eyes can stay closed, gaze towards the floor, feel your glutes engaging. And exhale, release. Now look towards the screen for a moment. We're going to do the same swimming, but this time we're going to contract, lift the legs and lift the arms. So instead of lifting, we're going to be dropping opposite arm and leg. Yeah. So you're up here and you drop opposite arm and leg. Feel your thighs engaging. When you're ready, that's it. Keep going. Yes, that's it. Relax down. So now you can bend your knees and sway your shins side to side. Contra posture for back extensions. First we do a chest. And now bring your hands by the sides of your chest. Open your shoulders back. So hands underneath your shoulders, open your shoulders back. And we're going to come into a child's pose. So this is what sometimes people go straight into after a back extension, but it can be too harsh to go straight into that. Good. Bring your fingertips onto the floor and your heels are towards your hips. Straighten your arms. Look towards your hands. Your fingers are like spiders on the floor. Now, push into your fingertips and imagine that you are arching your back, like if you were doing a cat stretch. But you won't go very far because your hands are in front of you. Let your head be between your arms. Hollow your belly. Hollow your belly. And release. So what's happening here is almost like if you were doing a matador thing like this. So you're arching, but because you're low down, you're extending your armpits, the sides of your body. Your shoulders are going towards your ears and you're arching contrary to what we were doing just now. Elbows straight if you can. That's it. And you push back. Good. And release. Bring your fists underneath your forehead. Relax your neck. Relax your shoulders. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. So now we're going to bring the hands onto the floor and come into all fours. And we're going to practice this protraction and retraction. So protraction is when we move the shoulder forwards, retraction, we move the shoulder back. When we're doing it with gravity, we can sink onto our upper back and then push away. When we're pushing away, it's like we're not arching, we're just moving onto the shoulders. That's it, yes. So let your chest sink between your shoulders. And now move your shoulders back just a little bit. Your elbows are still straight. And this is giving quite a deep back bend already. And now extend, come into a full cat stretch, chin to chest. Come back to center and we'll try it again. Let your chest go down. Your shoulders will be naturally towards your ears. Let them be. Have your head between your shoulders. It's all loose in there. Now, bring your shoulders back without bending your elbows. And this is a strong upper back bend. And push into your good. So the utmost upper back extension is our Anahasana or the puppy dog. So the puppy dog, don't do it yet, is here. Your chin is on the floor and the back of the neck is extended. So what I'm going to invite you to do first is to have one hand forwards. I have my left hand forwards and the right hand back. And I'm going to be stretching that side of the body. Head can rest. We're going to take 5 breaths. I show you on this side. So the inside of the arm will feel really stretched. Also your ribs, your serratus. And then we'll do the full Anahasana. If you find that the floor that you're practicing in is hard, please pad up your knees. Don't make your knees suffer. All right, so left hand forwards, right hand is underneath your shoulder. Inhale, engage your abdomen, engage your pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, let the head come onto the side. This left side of your temple is on the floor. If you were already doing it, just have a little rest. Breathe deeply. and lift up, change sides. So your left hand is on the floor, right hand forwards. Inhale, and as you exhale, let your armpits stretch. Turn the head towards your left. You're not letting go of everything. Keep your core engaged. Keep your left hand is pushing onto the floor. And inhale, bring it up. Bring your knees together. Just have a little rest on a closed child's pose. You can rotate your wrists, maybe rest your hands behind your back. Good. So now we're going to do the full Anahasana. Bringing the arms forwards, bringing the hips up, and then sinking onto the chest, chin onto the floor, melting the heart towards the ground. Some people cannot do the chin. You can put your forehead into the floor if the chin on the floor is too much. Good. And release. Come back into this closed child's pose. Your shoulders will be protracting. Great. And come into your Vidrasana pose, hero's pose. And just from there, keep your hands onto the floor and make those circles with your shoulders. So in here, we're not holding so much. So bring your hands in front of your knees. And then you let the shoulders creak. This is great for people that are on the desk all the time. And then go side to side. When you go side to side, you're stretching from the shoulders all the way towards the side of the hips. So you go side to side. Your hips will move a little bit. Let's just feel it. Maybe you want to stay on one side. Your shoulder is towards your ear. You're stretching the whole side of your hips. And go to the other side. And bring yourselves back to center. If you had your mat folded and fold it. And we're going to come back onto the ground. Are we doing okay? So far, yeah? Good. So from wherever you are, make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So maybe come onto your Sphinx pose, which is already a back bend, a back extension. And remember that in Sphinx pose, you shouldn't be protracting, you should be retracting the shoulders and expanding the chest. That's it. But place yourselves in a position where you can see me. So if your camera is on the side and you're in cobra pose, you can come onto your side and just have a little rest. The next exercise is important to do it very mindfully and slowly. So maybe I will move. I'll give you my back a little bit. No, maybe not, because I want you to see exactly the movement that we're going to do. So we're going to come into Shalavasana, which is locust pose. But to start with, we're going to work with the legs. So you can hold your head whilst you're working with your legs. We're going to bring the leg up. Tense the leg. Turn it slightly inward. Push it back. And then place it onto the floor. You couldn't see from there, but my leg becomes longer. Let's see if I can show it with the other one. So I'm lifting up, using my glutes. Turn slightly inwards, push away from my hip, and then release it down. The version of Shalavasana that we're going to do will be with the legs on the floor. So we want to have the legs really well grounded. Let's try it together. Have your head relaxed. You can have your forehead onto the floor. You've seen what we're doing. If you need to watch more, you can watch more. Lift your right leg. Tense the leg so that the thigh is tense, the knees tense. Turn the leg slightly inwards. Push the leg away. And now drop it on the floor. Don't relax it completely so that it supports the other one. Lift the left. Tense. Your thigh is tensing. Turn the knee inwards. From the hip, reach back and release the leg onto the floor. Do not relax the legs. Keep the tension, keep the tonicity in it. So your glutes are slightly tense. Your thighs are tense. The tops of your feet are on the floor. Now bring your hands onto your hips. Lift the top of your body. Bring your elbows towards each other. Retract your shoulders. And then from there, you can expand your arms back. Bringing your hands towards each other. Your elbows towards each other. Breathe deeply. One more breath in here. And exhale, release. Release the head to the side. Not much movement, but many muscle groups are engaged in that. We're going to try it again. Just trying to use all of the different groups of muscles and the parts of the body that we are using. So if you want, you can have your chin onto the floor and keep your hands by the side. Let's lift, turn inwards, push back, and release down, keeping the tonicity on the leg. Lift, in, reach, and down. Your legs are now really engaged. Feel your feet, your tops of the feet pressing on the floor. Your glutes are engaged. Your thighs are tensing. Now bring your hands onto your hips and lift your chest, pushing your hips down with your fingers. Shoulders go towards each other, elbows towards each other, retracting your shoulders. Bring your hands either side and breathe. And release. Relax, shake your hips, bend your knees, sway side to side. And bring your left forearm just in front of your chest, not very close. And hold onto your right foot. Bringing the foot towards your thigh, towards your hamstring or your hip. And you can press your right buttocks just to stretch that thigh. And release. Let's do the other side. Bend the knee, tense, buttocks let the hip go down towards the floor. And release. Tag your toes under. Bring your hands by the sides of your chest. And really slowly take your time to come into a child's pose. Arch your back, stretch the area. and release down. Lovely. Now come on a comfortable position so I can demonstrate what's coming next. Now we're going to open the hips in preparation for Setu Vandasana, shoulder bridge. So if you feel that your back is stressed or whatever, just sit on a position that is comfortable. Whilst you're watching, you can be leaning against a wall, against a sofa, or anything. I'm gonna take my socks off so that I don't slide. We're going to bring one leg forwards, and we're going to work on stretching the hamstrings, because the hamstrings are working quite hard, and also stretching the hip flexor and the thigh. We're going to also reach our foot and bring it towards the hip. This might be quite hard. You can use a belt to hold onto the foot, and you can also be higher up. So maybe this is all that you do. With stoicism, maybe you can bring the foot and open the chest, focus on opening the shoulder, the front of the shoulder. So come onto all fours. The objective is to stretch the hamstrings, stretch the thighs, open the hips in preparation for Setu Vandasana. And as always, this is your practice, so shake it, do any moves that you might need to move to feel centered. And the lotus pose can bring a lot of tension on the back, and it's good because the tension means that we're building our muscles, but at the same time, you want to bring the yin and the yang. Good. Bring your right leg back and just rock onto your toes. You can push back and stretch your your calf muscles. Your left leg is just relaxed in there. Lovely. And then bring your right leg forwards and have your hands either side of your foot. Tuck your left toes under and let the left knee come back. When the knee is almost on the top of the kneecap, it's a little bit less painful on the knee. But if you need to pad it up, please do that. Let's have a few breaths in here with the hips open. And bring your hips back. Let your toes rest on the floor. Stretch your front leg. You can sway your hips if you want to release tension. And then the objective will be to bring the chin towards your shin. And you can play around with the position of your back. Maybe you want to expand your back. Feel it from the inside. Feel what feels right for you. Take your time. Remember that extension happens by persuasion and not brute force. That's perfect. Using blocks underneath your hands can be really useful. Very good. And now come back to the front and stretch the front of your thigh again and your hip. Now, if you can, Bring your forearm onto your thigh and open your chest. If you're able to reach onto your foot and hold it, hold it. I'm not going to do it on this leg. So I'm going to stay here on this leg. If you can bring the foot towards your hip, do that. Otherwise, just stay opening your chest and opening your thigh. Oh, you got a cramp? Go into down dog if you have a cramp. Coming into down dog will normally sort it. Lovely. Now come back into all fours and shake it all around. And bring your left leg forwards. Just sway side to side, find that stretch. And walk your leg as far back as you can by tucking your toes under and moving the knee. And then rest for 5 breaths forwards, opening your hip. That's it. Inhaling and exhaling. Releasing the psoas muscles, releasing the hip. Then bring yourselves back, release the toes onto the floor and extend your left leg. So your head can go towards the leg, or maybe you want to extend your back, extend your neck. Check it out, try them both. They give you different stretches on the legs. Wherever your back is will bring a different stretch onto your leg. Lovely. And come back to the front of the mat. Have your forearm onto your leg, hand onto your hip and open your chest, or you can reach your foot and bend your elbow and open the hip. Don't force it. If it doesn't feel good on the knee, don't do it. Good. Bring your hands onto the floor and come into your downward facing dog. Walk your dog, letting your heels go down towards the floor. And open the feet the width of the mat. So it's a wide-legged down dog. Now look towards your hands and you will be in a not down dog version. Your head is poking out. Try the protraction and retraction. So letting your chest go down, letting your shoulders go up. And let it go down and up. One more and up. Now let your head come back between your arms. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Protract your shoulders. So push your hands onto the floor. Your shoulders come towards your ears. And then sink between your legs. And come back to that not down dog position. And lift the heels, bend the knees, push back. And arch between your shoulder blades. Good. And release. Shake your wrist. I know this was quite tough on the arms. So we think we're working our backs, but we work the whole body, don't we? And roll the shoulders. If you have tension on your arms, maybe do the eagle arms. And you can arch your back and bring your elbows towards the floor. Delicious. And bring it up. Change the cross. elbows up, and bringing the chin towards the chest, elbows towards the floor. And bring it up and release. Roll your shoulders back and roll your shoulders forwards. So next we're going to do the last back bend for today. These postures can be quite intense. I want you to watch the setting up of Setu Vandasana or bridge pose. And if you feel that you're too tired to try it with your legs and your hips and all of that, I will invite you to, when you're doing your version, you will do a restorative one, which is with your hips resting onto the block. This is allowed if you're tired. Now, if you want to do the whole Setu Vandasana, we're going to be on the floor and the feet are close to the hips. If this is painful for the knees, you bring your feet a little bit further away. So watch first and then you can try it. There is a version where you hold onto your ankles and come up. But we're not going to do that one today. We're just bringing the legs close. We're going to have the shoulders, the arms onto the floor. And I normally will indicate to open and lift straight away. But because we are decomposing the pose, today I will ask you to extend a little bit the sides of the body by bringing the shoulders up towards the ears. Then once you're up here, you will shuffle your shoulders in, and that will give space between your neck and your shoulders. And you will press your hands onto the floor, try to bring your hips up. If this is painful on the lower back, you can give a bit more space by lifting the heels and lowering the hips a little bit. If it's available to you, I will invite you to interlace your fingers and have your knuckles towards your heels. And then we're going to release down and do a twist. So when you're ready, come on to the ground. I will talk you through it. Do the level that is right for you. Don't press it too much. Maybe do a happy baby to start with. Just releasing your hips. We have worked on the hamstrings and the thighs so that the upper legs can really support us and the hips can be open. We have worked in the back muscles to help them be long and strong. And the shoulders, the position of the shoulders will also set us up in the right path. Good. So feet onto the floor, close towards your hips. Something important is to start engaging your inner thighs. So imagine that you have a zip going from the inside of your knee all the way towards your pubic bone. And you close that zip in. Your pelvic floor will automatically come in and up. And your glutes are already starting to tense. Now, bring your shoulders towards your ears, giving more room on the sides of the body. Push your feet onto the floor and bring your hips up. Now shuffle your shoulders underneath your chest and keep that zipping from the inside of your legs. Your thighs are working hard, your glutes are working hard. Bring your triceps underneath your chest, and if you can, interlace your fingers. If this is too much, come onto your toes, and you can lower your hips a little bit. Don't force it. We're going to come down, releasing, and let the legs Sway side to side. If there are areas that feel sore, give it a little bit of love by massaging it with your hands.
Geny, are
Yes.
the feet together or sort of hip distance apart when we do that bridge?
Good question. So let me show you. The legs will be sort of hip distance apart. So the legs are not together. They are hip distance, but keeping that structure. So keeping the legs are more or less a fist distance apart. Yeah?
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Let's try it again. That's it. So with the feet open the width of the mat, we're going to let the legs go side to side and be really heavy. So this is not a ladylike twist. We have the legs spread apart and let them be heavy to one side and then to the other side. Good. Now let both legs be towards one side. The leg that is closest to the floor, try to encourage it to relax down. You might want to put your hand over your inner thigh and say to the leg, come on, let it go. And this might be enough. If you want a little bit more, the leg that is in the middle, if you have inner leg, bring the outer foot onto the inner knee. So crossing the foot over the knee and giving more weight like this. Giving more weight to your thigh and the side of your hip. And you're going to extend your arms overhead or have your arms into a T position. Breathe into that stretch. And cross your legs. Wait a moment before you move. Inhale, and as you exhale, contract your abdomen and bring your legs back to center. And let your legs be heavy side to side. That's it. And let your legs rest in the opposite direction to where they were before. Encourage the leg that is closest to the floor to release tension on the inner thigh. And if this is enough, you stay there. If you want a little bit more, bring the outer foot onto the inner knee. And you can stretch your arms overhead. And cross the legs. Wait a moment. Inhale deeply. Exhale, contract your abdomen and bring it back to center. And rock your hip onto the floor without lifting. Making circles with your sacrum on the floor in one direction and the other direction. And now pushing your feet into the floor, see if you can get your cranium sacrum connection. So when you flatten your back onto the floor, your chin will go up towards the sky, your neck will expand. When you release and you have a little gap between your back, your chin comes in. So this is a natural movement of the spine. Sometimes it doesn't happen and you can keep trying. And if you move your head, it will also move your hip. Lovely. Now extend your legs along the floor and bring both legs towards your left hand side and bring both arms towards your left hand side. So you're stretching the right side of your body. Your chest is facing upwards, your hips are facing upwards. Your head can turn towards the left. If you wish, you can bring your right foot or ankle over the left. And that will give a further stretch to your right hip on the side of your body. This is Vandasana. So we are in a banana shape. Release your leg, bring your body back to center and walk all the way towards the other side. So both legs and both arms are towards your right side of the mat. And you can cross your ankle, your left ankle over your right. And bring your head back to center, uncross the legs. Bring the legs back to center. Bring your arms by the sides of your hips. Rest your knees towards each other and have your feet apart. This is a constructive rest. So your legs are like in a pyramid pose. And we're now building towards our Shavasana. If this position is restful enough and you want to stay there, you can rest your hands onto your hips. If you wanted to come into the full corpse pose, Shavasana, legs along the floor, arms by the sides of the body, you can do that too. Imagine your breath running through your spine, we've done a good workout for the back muscles, the hips, the thighs, shoulders, and even the arms worked.